Is this what you want with Matt and Julia? Is this what you want with Matt and Julia? Is this what you want?
Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're finally back. Welcome to the biggest ever episode of Is This What You Want with Matt and Julia.
I hope it's big with that intro. It better be the biggest.
It's going to be the biggest. We have so many fun temporary new segments. It's going to be a banger. It's going to be over an hour.
Strap yourself in, podcast listener, because I hope you're ready to get juiced and loose and slammed in the caboose.
Yeah,
because this podcast is going to fill you up.
We're going to fill you up so good.
You're going to puke so hard after this.
You're going to be oozing out of all your holes.
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
You're going to ooze. You're going to cruise. You're going to bruise. It's going to be a big one. I think probably we got a lot to cover because we've been gone for what, a month?
I think we've been gone for a month, and this all happened, as you know, because you are all power listeners, when we got our vows renewed in Vegas.
That's right.
And since then, we had people over before,
Yep.
people over after.
Yep.
Then Matt went to Canada.
Yes.
Then Matt's sister came to town.
Yes.
So literally, we have not had a moment to ourselves.
Have not had a moment to figure out ourselves.
I don't know about you,
Uh-huh.
but I could really use a drink.
Oh my God, you're launching right into Chappy Hour.
Why not? Mostly because I wanted to have a sip of my wine.
Okay.
Happy Chappy Hour, everybody.
Happy Chappy Hour, everyone. The only podcast segment devoted to the worst robot movie of all time called Chappie, which Julia has not seen still. To this day, we're over 100 episodes in and you've not seen Chappie in its full capacity.
Not yet, but we are flying to Canada probably in July. I will be on a plane.
Chap-pacity?
Full capacity.
Capacity.
So I will check if Chappie's playing.
That's the rule. If she sees it on an airplane, she has to watch it.
I have to watch
and then I
it.
will film her reactions to it.
You've just like pried my eyes open and strapped me to the
Clockwork
chair.
Orange you into an Air
No.
Canada seat.
Imagine I love it. Imagine I'm like, this is the best movie ever made.
That would drastically affect our relationship, I think.
If I genuinely love Chappie.
I'd go back to the place where we just renewed our vows and go to the Elvis and be like, hi, can we delete our account here?
Or I'd be like, can you dress up as Chappie and walk me down the aisle?
Yeah, what a nightmare.
Instead of Elvis?
Ew, what if there was like a great...
A Chappie wedding chapel!
A Chappie chapel?
A Chappie chapel!
A chapel.
A
Chapel.
chapel.
It's just called a chapel
It's just
at that point.
It's called a chapel, yeah.
And it's just... Who would go to that? Who would go to a Chappie themed
Oh,
wedding
there's
chapel?
a lot of weirdo sci-fi nerdy robot loving freaks out there.
If this podcast grows to Joe Rogan level popularity, which any day now,
We'll have a chapel. Except we don't own the rights to Chappie, so I feel
No.
like the Chappie people would be like, well, cut us in.
but I guarantee no one else is talking about Chappie. No one out there is just like, I really want to. I love that movie. I'm talking about it. To this day, it's been out for what, 10 years?
We're
at
the
least?
ones keeping Chappie alive,
We're
and if anything, they should give us money.
Yeah, and I hate the movie, and I'm keeping it alive. What's that called when you hate something but you keep it alive? Marriage?
Wow. Here I am trying to think of something actually legitimate. I'm like, hate alive. Yeah.
No.
Speaking of keeping it alive, we are keeping it alive with this wine.
Yeah, what is this the boxed business that we got in the mail the other day?
It is. Here's the thing. Matt was away visiting his sister, and I was not drinking for about 4 days, which good for me.
Yeah.
However, maybe my Instagram algorithm was like, hey, lady, we noticed you have been drinking so much lately. Here's a bit of a targeted ad, because I never get Usually I get targeted ads for like not drinking. They're like, here's a supplement to wine. It's some herbs and a tincture. And I'm
what
like,
if your phone scans your face while you're looking at it and is like, those don't look like drunk eyes. Let's get some drunk in those eyes.
maybe.
Maybe it just like sees your face. And
Because
like,
I never get targeted ads for wine or for alcohol. And then this one was like, this 0 sugar boxed wine, blah, 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 US made, yada, yada, yada. And then I looked it up and it had really great reviews. And I'm like, you know what? Wow. It's better for the environment. It keeps longer. Sometimes when I open a bottle of wine, I'm like, it's going to go bad if I don't drink the whole thing, but with a boxed wine. Anyway, I ended up ordering 2 boxes of wine online. And
as you do.
And it's
from your phone.
called Grazie.
Or is it gratis?
It's called Grazie.
It's called Grazie?
Yes.
I thought it was gratis. I've been reading it. But doesn't gratis mean free? So you probably don't want to have a company.
No, it's called Grazie. And a little thing about Grazie. So you're drinking the house red, and I believe I'm drinking like the table white. So
what's the difference between a house and a table?
I said house red for you, and then I remembered that my box said table. So they're both table wines. They're both wines for the table. Just easy drinking. That's the thing. Wine snobs, you're not getting a lot of complexity here, but they're both nice, easy drinking wines.
You know the difference between a house and a table?
What, Matt?
A flat top and 4 legs. Main difference.
Is this a real joke?
No.
Okay.
It's I'm starting to write jokes that don't go anywhere and are terrible.
Oh, starting.
Wow. I'm making a hard pivot or a soft pivot according to you.
Grazie. Our wines are all grown and produced in Washington State with the Greater Columbia River and Yakima valleys. All 100% vegan, grown and produced using sustainable growing methods. We are inspired by the old world, and so are our wines. Mediterranean-inspired wines, dry fruit, forward table wines for drinking with all about anything or nothing at all. That's what we're doing. Our wines are sustainably made, pesticide-free, zero in sugar, vegan, gluten-free, paleo, and keto-friendly.
Okay.
So hell yeah, grazie. And guess what?
They're in a box, and then in the box is a plastic bladder. Ain't nothing too environmental about that.
Well, yeah, but like maybe their farming practices and whatnot.
Maybe the bladder is made out of a sheep's stomach.
Or maybe the bladder's made out of
a bladder,
an actual dead person's bladder.
Well, no, there's a wine idea for you.
If you donated your body to science, would you be mad if your actual bladder was used to house wine?
I would be fine with that. Take the organs that you can use. Probably a few good ones in there. Maybe a kidney.
I mean, it depends on when we die.
Yeah, but if I die and then a rich billionaire uses my body as a vessel for alcohol at one of their fancy parties, I'm fine with that. Fill me full of ice and put a bunch of Coors Lights in my ass, and then
not in
and
your
they'll be
ass.
like, "Oh my God, Jeff Bezos, how gauche! You have a peasant boy as your cooler."
Or they said who you were, and they'd play your videos in the background.
Oh man,
what a nightmare! They probably do that. They're gonna do that eventually when the world collapses.
It's already collapsed. Let's be serious.
If you think this is the ND collapsing, then I got news for you. This is pretty good. If this is ND collapsing and I'm drinking box wine,
I don't think it has collapsed. We are in the. It's gonna be it's a slow collapse. We're giving out, we're teetering, we're leaning Tower of Pisa. Think of how long the Leaning Tower of Pisa has been leaning for. That's slowly collapsing.
They built it leaning, though, no?
No.
I thought that was the appeal. They're like, hey, we're going to bring people here.
Oh, you thought the original name was Leaning Tower of Pisa, and they're like...
I thought it was like a draw. You know what? I didn't fully think anything. I've actually visited there, but I was 16, so what did I know?
You got to read the little plaque. I love a plaque when I'm traveling.
I probably
I'll
did.
read a plaque, but I never retain a plaque.
Obviously, I didn't either because I was 16, and
I don't
here
know
we
if anyone's
are.
ever retained a plaque. Let us know if you've ever retained a plaque, listener. Because when I will get into plaques at museums, I'll touch them.
I'll go to a museum. I'll read every plaque. I'll listen to everything, and then I leave the museum, and I just go, "Where was I?
Where was I just now?"
I do not retain information. Okay, we have so many segments. I can't even handle it. But
first of all, so sorry for being gone for so long. We actually did get some messages from people being like, "What the hell's going on?"
I know.
Christina Walkinshaw was up in arms. Brian Hunter was inconsolable, I'd say.
Yeah.
He was a wreck.
Crying
a
every
puddle,
day.
Crying Hunter.
Threatening us with violence.
To come down here and pop me in the nose, which, you're doing me a favor because check out this schnoz. Could use a few
Imagine you
pops.
got popped in the nose and then your nose was nice.
Just became Brad Pitt's nose. Does he have a good nose?
I don't remember. I like your nose.
You assume Brad Pitt has a nose. If you say Brad Pitt's anything, you're like, oh, his ears. You're like, I never looked at his ears, but they're probably nice.
Now I'm going to look at his ears and they're going to be weird.
Yeah, something on him is weird. Let's find the weird thing on Brad Pitt. There's a party game for you.
I was going to say there's a new segment. Find the weird thing on Brad Pitt.
I was going to say like pin the tail on the donkey, but instead it's a big picture of Brad Pitt and you're going to like find the weird thing on this guy's face. Something weird's going on there. Also, everyone's always like, he looks so good for 50 whatever. It's like, do you know how the team of people keeping this man preserved?
And also, he looks fine. Like, he looks fine.
He's
was a handsome man to begin with. It would be crazy if he was like Steve Buscemi and then he looked like that. I'd be like, holy shit, Steve Buscemi had to glow up.
If Buscemi glows up, we're all in trouble.
Imagine Buscemi gets a bunch of surgery and then just looks like some, like, Like for me, like Rob Lowe looks a bit
CGI,
a bit
tight, loose,
tight. I don't know. It
Greasy.
looks a bit
pizza face,
monster
butt,
it just it
chicken
looks
face.
it looks like he's had work done.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Of
Everybody's
course
had
he
work
has.
done.
Yeah.
But I feel like men are often like, well, I just aged my rugged self. But he's like, oh, hi, I'm Rob Lowe.
Yeah, he's like, well, he has ads for like keto bars, and he's like, I don't like sugar. And you're like, get out of here, Rob Lowe. Get out of here.
Get out of here, Rob Lowe. And you know what? We're going to get into our first really beefy segment. The reason that we've missed like a month, our segment is wedding recap.
Oh, I thought it was going to be about beef. I thought it was going to be like best burger in town.
We went over the segments together, and you know that's not a segment.
Yeah, wedding recap. Who got married?
Jack and Jill.
Went
and
up
they
the
went
hill
up the hill, and then
to suck
literally,
each other off.
Yeah, that's actually one of my jokes about
It is.
people's about my Canadian
Oh my
really came out
God.
there.
How embarrassing for everyone involved.
Guys, we got married. I don't even know where to begin. Oh gosh, I don't think. No, we didn't. This is how long it's been since we haven't podcasted.
Oh, listeners, we already are married, and we moved to Los Angeles. How far back does this go?
Oh no. But yeah, that's.
I am a comedian, and so is she.
No. I'm saying literally the day before. So my sister and one of my best friends, Diana, were supposed to come to LA, and then we were all going to drive to Vegas together for the wedding.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like we've covered this on the podcast.
We haven't covered shit.
My friend, I kept because there were so many cancellations, so many things that went wrong, and I was like, as long as Diana and Jess Brown are there, I'll be fine.
Two of your best friends.
Two of my best friends.
Yeah.
And then the day before, one of my friends is supposed to be here. Her husband gets COVID.
Yeah. Which is like, come on, still, everyone's still getting, damn, man.
I know.
Shouldn't we have had it 8 million times by now?
And at first I was like, I don't care. I can't handle this.
Yeah.
You have to come. But then I was like, well, that's stupid because she could get sick the next day and then I would have a friggin' super spreader event.
Yeah.
So she ended up canceling and I was getting my nails done at the time and I was just bawling. It was like the most like white lady thing to do. I'm in the nail salon. Someone's working my toes. Someone's working my hands. I'm like, oh. And they're handing me tissues and I'm just looking around. Everybody's looking at me like with those sad eyes, you know, because they could hear the phone call and then like to break the tension, I'm like, I'm usually way more fun. And everybody chuckled. But it was just, I'm like, are you fucking serious? So she didn't come. That's okay. My sister ended up coming. And then we set off to Vegas. And I guess the first day, we're doing a full recap.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. Your first day was much different than my first day. Because you organized like a type of bachelorette and you're like, you can have your own bachelor party. And I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want to go to a strip club. Strip clubs make me very uncomfortable. I feel bad for everyone involved. I'm not supposed to be there. I want to do something else. So we'll talk about yours in a sec. But mine, basically, there was no other guys in town yet. So,
a lot of I really thought everybody would come earlier, but
Yeah.
it turns out everybody decided to stay an extra day.
also, it happened to be my birthday as well.
It was Matt's birthday.
Let me just preface this as well. 38 is not the year for me to celebrate my birthdays. There's been a couple of instances where we've tried. It hasn't worked out. I don't know what's with the
No.
age 38, but it really has.
I feel like that's going to be your, well, that was stupid later.
Yeah, we went out for a nice dinner, which was great. The sommelier told us that we were sitting in Frank Sinatra's booth, which, you know, he probably says that to everyone, but was it nice to hear? Of
Also,
course I
every
wanna-
restaurant from here to Tallahassee has a story about Frank Sinatra.
Our apartment here in LA, our first apartment, she was like, Frank Sinatra used to hang out here. I'm like, is this a book? Is this like The Game? Like they read this and they're like, people love to know that Frank Sinatra, he got around. Maybe he was at your place. So he told us that. That was exciting. You went off to your thing, which was Magic Mike Live with a bunch of girls.
Which
hooting
I will
and
get
hollering,
to.
Which you'll get to. And then our friend Luch, who was a Las Vegas local, he's like, let's take an edible and go to a drag show. It's a drag show I've already been to, already really enjoyed it. I was like, yeah, of course, whatever. We take an edible. I have never been this high in public in my entire life. And what a terrible place to be high than Las Vegas. Going down the strip, my mouth was sandpaper. It was like I'd been sucking on hay bales,
Oh,
like that kind of high where I was chugging bottles of water and it was just gliding through my body.
Why does that happen? Why does it do something? Why does it give you pasties when you're high?
I don't know, but we should look that up.
I feel like I have. Now I forget because I was high.
But it was like crazy. And then we get to this drag show and it's like, it's a weekday. So it's kind of like poorly attended, whatever, not their fault. And then me and Luch are just so high, just like staring. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. We watched the whole show and I remember getting up and I'm like, oh, this is my bachelor party. I was surrounded by bottles of water. Like so much that when I got up, you heard clunk, 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 clunk.
Just
like,
all the bottles falling.
Because I was just sitting there going,
At least you're hydrated.
They probably, the drag performers were probably like, this guy's really into us. Yeah. I'm just like, just like eyes like dilated, just sucking on water. And then we knew the drag queens, some of them too. So we said hi after. And I mean hi because I was literally like, hello, that was a great show. And I told them all, I was like, I've never been this high in public before. And I went down the line. I'm like, I've never been this high in public before. I'm so high. That was a great show. I like told everybody and they're like, we don't care. I'm like, I just want everyone to know that I'm so high right now.
I hate that level of high when you're like, everybody must know how high I am, which just makes everything weirder. It's like nobody really would have noticed. They would have been like, oh, Matt's a bit quiet. Or
no, and I take edibles like almost every day at night.
Yeah.
It's different when I guess you're at home and safe, but it's like I was out and Luch, I think he was lying about how many milligrams this was, but it was nuts. And then like met up with you guys after. And very different evenings.
Very different evenings.
Not how you would describe a bachelor party.
Well, the first part was fun. It was just everything surrounding this wedding has been total chaos. So when we get to Vegas, we're checking in. Also, I didn't realize. I thought like, oh, end of March, off season in Vegas. Nope. It was March Madness, Taylor Swift, Adele, like crazy poker tournaments.
Everything was happening.
Everything. Every hotel was like sold out. The line to check into the hotel was like an hour wait. It was madness.
Also, let's say this. You had this idea, and I agree with it fully. You're Las Vegas. Have a drink cart in the lineup at the hotel.
Yes.
We had a lot of little Vegas ideas. That was a big one because let me tell you, when people get to Vegas, they're like, I want a drink now. They'll pay anything. If they're waiting in line, they'll get 3 or 4 beers.
Have a few light snacks too, because
anything.
This is a common occurrence during high season like this. So we get there, we check in. I somehow finagle my way to check in to the VIP area because we were staying in the spa suite. Uh-huh. And they check us into a room with just a very hideous view. And let me tell you, listener, as you will know, I booked this so long ago.
Yep.
I made requests.
Yep.
So after a few phone calls down to the front desk, I got my way.
You were buzzing around that spa tower like a hummingbird because you went out in the hallway and there was some maids. Or sorry, you say maids anymore? I don't even know.
Yeah, they're maids or house
service
house. What I've had 2 sips of wine and housegivers,
housegivers,
care
housers. A couple of care housers were out there caring to the house. And you're like, can I peek in that room? I want to see what that. And they're like, no, okay, fine. And then you like checked out the view in that room, and you're like, oh, that's much better.
Because why did I book 6 months ago? Why did I spend an hour and a half on hold making requests? That they're like, absolutely. So when I call down, they're like, ma'am, we don't guarantee requests. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, I just looked at a room and it's available. And they're like, well, that room's booked for later. I'm like, what do you mean later? They're like, someone else is coming in today because they requested it. I'm like, I thought you didn't guarantee requests. Long story short, one of my girls at the front desk, whose name I'm forgetting, but I wrote it down because she was amazing.
Tangerine?
Her name was not Tangerine. Tangerine
Mildred
really helped me out. And so we got this beautiful room, beautiful view. We're quickly getting ready. I'm wearing a drop dead gorgeous red jumpsuit. And then we go out to our dinner, which is at this old school steakhouse. Like I said, Frank Sinatra
farted in our booth.
And we got steaks, we got shrimp cocktails, we got dirty martinis. It was lovely. And then I went off to Magic Mike. And let me tell you, I've been to Magic Mike before. And I think last time I was talking about Magic Mike on the podcast, I was very upset because I didn't get pulled on stage. And I thought I would. But this time, I got gyrated on while watching.
Do you feel their junk when they gyrate?
No, they don't gyrate that much.
You think they have like a padding to separate their junk?
No, but he's also not rubbing his full dick on me.
Okay.
Well, I don't remember. I was quite drunk. Anyway,
Their
a
butts
lady
as
never
well?
tells.
Are you allowed to touch them? Can you poke them and stuff? Can you poke the guys at Magic Mike? You slap them around a bit.
Here's the thing. That's rude.
You can slap them and give them a couple, like smack their tits around?
Would you smack around a stripper's tits? No.
Never in a million years.
There you go. So you're not going to smack around the Magic Mike men.
I don't know. They're pecs. You can be like, what are these pecs made out of?
Listen, I did touch a man's pecs.
See?
But I got pulled on stage, and Anton, Christine Von Hagen, a good friend of ours, loves Anton. She's seen the show so many times. And when she's like, look at Anton and all his purity.
He's pure, is he?
He's very pure, and he told me how much I meant to him. He's like, Julia, you are la la la.
Was he Italian?
I don't know what he is.
Okay.
And then I was touching his body. I was flinging him around.
See, you can slap him around a bit.
No, I was flinging. I had these big like drapey arms on my jumpsuit, and I was draping them around him. Anyway, it was the perfect bachelorette party that I never had. And then we met up with you, and you're like, I'm so high.
Yeah, the man from Jupiter just lands back to Earth. Oh, I've had an evening. Also, yeah, we could not get an Uber back to where, like, our area because it was so busy. And being that high and not being able to get an Uber was like...
And you hailed a cab, yeah?
Oh, we got a cab. That's right. An old school cab. Like we're fucking news reporters in old New York on a hot scoop. What am I don't like an old cab.
Anyway, got an old cab back, and we played some poker. We won and lost. Had a good time. It's one of those nights where, like, when I started up the night, I'm like, I've never looked better. I feel amazing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like playing my video poker, and I'm drinking my drinks, and I'm like, I am hot. And then there's a picture of me and one of my other best friends, Jess. And I remember at the time I was like, we're supermodels. And I looked at it the next day, and I'm like, oh my God. It looks like we had hit rock bottom. It was just like one of my tits is almost hanging out. I think I showed some people my tits.
Really?
I think I'd be there, and I just show Von Hagen. I'm like, look at this, because I wasn't wearing a bra.
That's fun.
It was a good time. Anyway, that was that first night. And then...
God, we're really going through all of it, huh?
Yeah. Wedding recap.
I see. What even was this? It was the second day?
Second day we
was
woke
the
up.
pool party?
It was like a pool party. Also, it's normally like fucking hot as shit in Vegas around that time. It was cold.
No, Vegas will surprise you. If you're like, oh, it's the desert. You're like, well, guess what happens in the desert? It gets ice cold very quickly.
But normally for seasonally, it's supposed to be hotter.
Yeah.
It would have 17 degrees, which is what? Like high 60s?
Yeah.
Ugh.
We did rent a couple of cabanas, and I will say one of the highlights was there was a water slide at the Golden Nugget, which I don't remember the last time I went down a damn water slide.
I didn't go down it.
You didn't go down
No,
it?
because I was like, I'm going to go down the day after the wedding. That was my idea. But then it was so cold that day that we went to the pool for a second.
I toughed it out, and it was fun. It was very fast. And a little rough and ready. I'll tell you, parts of it felt like going down a cheese grater. I was like, I'm coming down with 2 less elbows because of this Golden Nugget.
I think
water
that's
slide.
once you told me, I was like, and I was wearing like a new bathing suit. I'm like, I don't want to get all fucking bunged up before the wedding.
That would be quite the sight if I go down the water slide and it rips my full bathing, it just shreds it, and I'm just covered in blood and nude at the end. Now that's a hotel. Welcome to Vegas, baby. Just me nude and covered in blood in a pool, just writhing around.
I mean, that's definitely happened in Vegas.
Absolutely, but it stayed there.
So, okay, I'm gonna really speed through Friday because you woke up that morning and you're like, something's wrong. You're like, it's not. You're like, yeah, I'm hungover, but I don't feel like I feel different. And I was like, I'm fine. I go out for breakfast. We have our little pool party. You're starting to feel better. Whatever. We both have a show that night. We're opening for Randy Feltface, who was a fucking cool ass puppet. And I'm like, hell yeah. We have a nap that afternoon. I wake up. We're on our way to the show. I'm like, I don't feel good. I'm like, something's wrong. I'm like, this is more than a hangover. Not to get too graphic, but it was to the point where I was like, I don't think I can go on stage. I was in the bathroom probably like 8 times before. And I was like shaking and I felt weak. I somehow rally, do the show. You do the show. We're great. We don't drink that night. You and I, we don't drink. I think we each had like a Guinness or something, which is not drink. It's just iron. It's good for you.
Yeah.
We go to bed, and my best friend, this is easy to say, doesn't drink either that night. I wake up in the morning still feeling shaky. The day of the wedding. I'm like, Are you fucking kidding me? So I'm texting my best friend Jess. I'm like, can you help me out with this? La la la. She's been barfing all morning.
Yep. Severely ill, which what a nightmare place to be sick. Like, think about your sickest you've ever been, and you're like, well, at least I'm at home. I know where things are. I'm comfortable. But then she's deathly flu sick, and she opens her window, and it's like just like Vegas.
She's in her old timey saloon.
Yeah, about just lights and yelling, and no matter what hotel you're staying in, you hear bass. So it's like gong, 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 like constantly.
And
what a nightmare to be that sick.
We still don't know what it was. We had some theories at first. We're like, it's food poisoning, but hers ended up lasting for like 4 days. And we're like, maybe it's salmonella.
No, my theory is that Vegas is an absolute cesspool pit, and we should have all gotten much sicker. So it's something about Vegas this time. It was extra gross. Some of the slot machines, some of the machines we were playing, I'm like, oh, something's caked on here. Like there is a residue on everything.
I'm usually good at spraying my hand sanitizer on it and wiping it, but this time I didn't.
No, I think the people that got sick. I think the people that didn't got stronger.
Got stronger or got lucky.
I honestly feel stronger now. I've been exposed to something, and I'm ready to rock. I can handle anything, I think.
But like, are you kidding me? Of all days, like Jess Brown, again, so one of my friends sick from COVID can't come. My other best friend, Jess Brown, the whole day, we were supposed to get ready together. It was supposed to be a whole thing. She comes over looking like a shell of a human. She didn't eat or drink anything that day, like alcohol-wise or food. She had like a green juice. Anyway, the wedding.
Yes, it was at Graceland Chapel, which was worth every goddamn dollar. If you're hesitating for a second, being like, maybe I'll get married in Vegas. Let me tell you, God, I wish we just did it for the first one.
Graceland Chapel's so fucking it's so cheesy, and they really just there's like a wedding every 15 minutes. They just plow you in, plow you out. Even
less. They're like 5 to 7 minute weddings. Like
you get a 15-minute slot.
You get a slot.
But they get really mad if you want to take up that whole 15 minutes.
Yeah, they want you in and out like a fiddler's elbow. But it was like, because there's a lot of chapels obviously there.
Yeah.
But this one was like legit. The Elvis was also the owner.
Mm-hmm.
He was fantastic.
Pauly Shore, really wanted us to know that. He's like, you're comedians?
Yeah, I know Pauly Shore.
Best friends with Pauly Shore.
He's like, I'm also good friends with Joe Coy's wife. I'm like,
oh,
okay.
I missed that part.
Yeah, we had a good chinwag.
He was yapping our ear off at the end. I'm like,
he was
look,
good.
Elvis.
Here's the thing, like looking at him, because he owns that chapel. He is Elvis. That's his real hair. Like he walks around day in, day out looking like Elvis all the time. Is he sick of it? Do you think, he must love Elvis to a level that I cannot imagine.
Well, obviously, it's in the same way that if we opened a Chappie Chapel, a chapel, we'd really have to love Chappie.
Yeah, unless we hated it, that might be even funnier.
But also, we don't have to dress up as Chappie.
No, we do. I'm afraid we do.
He obviously, but also he has a rotation of Elvises, Elvi. One Elvis, two Elvi.
A flock of Elvi.
A flock of Elvi who will step in because the next Elvis that was doing the next wedding, boy, howdy, he looked rough. His sideburns were peeling off.
There was a light breeze, and they
literally went like this.
And I was like, our Elvis had real sideburns. So that's hot Vegas tip for you. If you go to Vegas wedding, get the Elvis with the real sideburns.
Yeah, go to Graceland Chapel. It's the original one. They're not paying me to say this.
No one's
also, they gouge you. It's way too expensive, like everything in Vegas. The photographer had a weird mohawk. He couldn't give a shit. He's just like, because they don't let you take your own photos inside. So at first I was like, I'm not buying any of these photos.
But his photos were fantastic.
They're amazing. They were the best photos I've ever
They
seen.
know what they're doing. It was very like, and then he did his little ceremony. And then the best part was he's like, okay, poses. And he's like, blah, gah, blah. And he just did all these poses. And you look at the photos and you're like, well, they're absolutely perfect.
Yeah, they don't look staged at all. They all look... I mean,
he knows his moments. He knows where to choose them.
It was just fun. And then we go to Margaritaville. We have a fucking time. That space was beautiful. Like seeing the sun, being in a space up above the strip, having our own little balcony overlooking the strip as the sun is setting. And I'm there with like such good friends and I'm drinking champagne.
What more do you want, huh?
It was nice. Despite all the fucking shit that happened. Also on our way to the wedding, we literally waited for the elevator for 20 minutes and then had to take the stairs only to get down there for them to be like, nope, you can't get out. Got to go back up. There were every step of the way, someone was fucking with us. But that was that.
I think that's just a classic wedding. I think regardless of the size of your wedding, you're going to have little problems here and there.
For sure.
That's how I saw it. I was like, well, this is just a thing that happens. Sometimes the elevators break. Well, what are you going to do? Worst things can happen.
I will say, I don't think I've ever looked better.
You looked fantastic.
I was wearing my vintage Bob Mackie and just, I hate to toot my own horn, but like, come on.
Perfection.
Come on. And you look so cute too.
Tan suit, ready to rock.
You looked great.
It was fun.
It was fun. And I feel like I have PTSD from it.
Why?
Because it was so planning it. It was just, and then it was like, now it's over.
Now it's
and
over.
now what?
That's it.
Now what do we do?
Yeah.
Anyway, that was our wedding recap.
Fantastic.
We did it.
Would do it again.
Would?
We should do it again in like 20 years.
Sure.
I'd do that. That'd be fun. In the future. And there's
In
like a
the
floating
future.
Elvis. It's just like a head in a jar. And then we're like wearing jetpacks. That's what the future should be. Jetpack chapel. Floating Elvis head. All the money has Hillary Clinton on it.
Just for no reason. She's long dead. And anyway.
I think that was an Eddie Murphy movie. I think I pulled that. What movie is that?
Hillary
Pluto
Clinton money?
Nash. That's the one. Pluto Nash.
Oh.
He said, how many Hillarys? And then he pulls out a bunch of money that has Hillary's face on it. Anyway.
Well, that was a big wedding recap. And now it's time for our next segment. Well, that was stupid.
Well,
that
that
was
was
stupid.
stupid. Wow. Are these all the segments?
Yeah, we have a lot of segments.
I don't think we're going to get through all
We're
these.
going to get through all of them. Okay. Maybe if you didn't yap so much about saying we're not going to get through them.
Okay.
I have something very stupid.
Stupid that happened? Go for it.
Okay. So the week after the wedding, my best friend Jess Brown was here. She was finally better when she was back in LA. And we had a few glasses of wine the night before, and I woke up in the middle of the night and I was really thirsty. I'm like, I'm going to get a glass of water. So I go to get a glass of water and I'm like, you know what? Because we just got back from Vegas, let's boost my immunity. I will put in like an emergency packet, one of those electrolyte packets. So I do that. I stir it up. It's nighttime. I can't really see anything except the glow of the fridge. I'm half asleep. I stir it up. I take a few big gulps and I'm like, this tastes different. And I'm like, it's also not the right color. I'm like, is this like a lemon lime packet? What's going on? I drank a packet of flour food.
Yeah.
I drank a
That was
packet of
quite the
flour
evening.
food. Yep. And I was like, oh my God. Because I had bought some roses where I was doing a trial for the wedding to see flower arrangements. And I just quickly threw the packet in the same drawer as the electrolyte things. I'm like, oh my God. I go back to bed. Then I'm like, wait a minute. And I Google it just to make sure I'm like not going to die.
Yeah.
And they're like, make sure you drink water. So I like chug 2 glasses of water. I'm like, oh my God, is it okay? I had hot diarrhea all morning.
Was that related to the flour food, or was that just the nerves of eating flour food? Man, I can't believe it shot through you that fast. I think you were just so anxious. You're like, like maybe your
No.
body's like, squeeze it all out.
This is different. I've never had a feeling in my butt like that before.
Wow.
It's bleach. And it wasn't
Yeah.
immediate. It was like, because I had this at like 4 a.m. and then Poo Poo Town didn't happen until like 7 a.m.
I know, it didn't really process because you came back to bed and you're like, I ate flour food.
Yeah,
I'm
because
like,
you're
am
half
I
asleep and I'm like,
dreaming?
I ate flour.
I don't know what's
food.
happening right now. And then I'm like, nah, you'll be fine. And then I kind of started to wake up more. I'm like, will she be fine? I don't know anyone that's ever ate flour food.
If I drank the
before.
whole thing, I would have had to like,
Go to the ER.
call poison control or something.
Yeah, but you were fine.
How fucking stupid is that? Because it's so annoying because I wanted to do something good for my body. I'm like, this will fix me up so I'll feel better in the morning. And when I started telling Jess Brown the story, she's like, oh no, you drank the emergency packet and then it woke you up and you couldn't get back to bed. I'm like,
No, way
I
worse.
wish.
What
way
a life
worse.
that would be.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my word. Well, that was stupid. What about yours, Matt?
I've had so many stupid things happen in the last weeks. I mean, I'll go all the way back to Vegas because something very dumb happened a couple times. I mean, the elevator stopped working multiple times.
And by the
Well,
way, this is the spa tower. These are
yeah.
the fancy
We know
fucking
the spa
suites.
tower. We love the spa tower.
We love it.
So you were like, run back up to the room and get something. I don't know what the hell it was. Ran back up to the room, got in the elevator. It stopped, got stuck between floors 3 and 4, and I'm in there. And it's amazing how quickly, because like I pushed the button to call the office. I'm like, hey, I'm stuck. They're like, oh, it's going to be like 40 minutes. I'm like, well, that's great. And then it's amazing how quickly the human brain goes, what corner can I piss in?
Yep.
I immediately was picking a piss corner. That's the first thing I did. And like, at least I had my phone and I could communicate with you and stuff. And I'm standing there. I'm like, God, 40 minutes. What the fuck am I supposed to do? And then like, it starts, I hear like clunk. And they're like, oh yeah, our guy's on his way. He'll be there in a little bit. And then I'm standing there. I think I was in there for 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah, about 15 minutes. And by the way, we're all of us are downstairs because you had to run back up, and we're waiting for you for a dinner reservation.
And then I hear like and then I drop like 3 floors, like a Disneyland ride, and then it just stopped.
And then the doors open, and we're all just, I think I filmed you coming out of it, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, my stomach was like still up in my forehead. And they laughed at me on the intercom because I called and I was like, I'm still here. Like after 10 minutes, I was like, is it going to be 40 minutes? They're like, oh my God, you're still in between 3 and 4? Okay, let me check something. Like they were like so shitty about it.
And didn't do anything about it. Like,
no, there was no like apology. There was no like, we'll send up a bottle of champagne or anything. Like do anything.
No, the golden nugget is checked out, and you know what? That reminds me, I am going to follow up with them because there were some really shitty things that happened at that hotel.
We do live in a different world. I understand. Customer service is different. The hotels are different. Everything's very different now. So expectations have gone to a different planet.
Yeah, but
when you're out and about.
I've had good times at a lot of places.
Yeah, but it's going to be few and far between. This is the new world we live in. Didn't I mention we were slowly collapsing as a society?
Yes, you did.
Told you.
Yes, you did. Okay, now it's time for our next new segment, just for today and today only. Frasier forecast.
And this is where we talk about Frasier?
Yeah. We talk about our most recent run-in with Frasier.
Oh, because you had a second one and I only had one. They already know about mine where I was there.
So yeah, that happened before.
So this segment's just for you.
Yes.
I thought it was gonna. I thought this segment was gonna be like, how close are we to getting on?
Oh, sure.
Frasier?
It can be that too. It can be whatever you want it to be. But for me,
I'll answer that first.
Okay.
Still not very close. Have not gotten an audition. Not even sure how. I pressured my manager to be like, anything that comes down. Like, I'll be a fucking barista in the corner sucking my own dick. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, that classic Frasier trope of the barista sucking his own dick.
If you look in the background of most of Cave Nervosa. There's a guy sucking his dick in the corner. Yeah,
he's very nervosa and he's sucking his dick.
Oh, jeez, Dr. Crane's here. Ew. So, yeah, not very close, but still have a great relationship with people at the show, which you will attest to with your interaction. Oh, yes. I'm sure of it.
First of all, I have been making a vision board that does include Frasier, Kelsey Grammer, one and the same.
Yeah.
So I'm still working on my vision board. And then Jess Brown was in town. My best friend was like, oh, that would be so fun to go to a taping, like something very LA to do. So I scored us tickets again, saw the taping. It was so fucking good, as always. And then we got to hang out with Kelsey again.
The same shit.
And he remember, like, literally producers, Kelsey, a ton of people were like, hey, it's you from before. Like, they all remembered me, and they're like, "Oh, we love you." And then
you're the power listener of Frasier.
I'm the Frasier power listener.
See Christina Waukesha or Brian Hunter or Chris Bush in real life. We're like, "Hey,
it's you!"
We are the Kelsey Grammer to them. I'm sure of it.
Oh, sure. And like, he came up to me without, like, I was chatting with someone else, and he puts his arm around me, and he's like, I love this girl. And he kisses like the top/side of my head.
Did you remove that part of your hair and put it in a glass box?
I did.
Wow.
I have a bald patch now. No, I like blush so hard. And Jess is like, oh my God. I'm like, oh my God, Frasier. It was just so like, it was such like a paternal thing. It was just such a like a, I love this girl. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God.
It's very odd to think that we are so obsessed with Frasier. And now you are at least at the level where if he saw you, he might not know your name, but he would recognize you.
I think so.
That's where we're at with Frasier so far, is you are recognizable to the cast and the main guy.
Yes.
And that's pretty good.
And seeing a lot of the other cast members before, they're like, hey, and like a couple of them follow me. I'm like, it was just nice. Like I am manifesting something with Frasier. Yes. You best believe it. So that's where that's our Frasier forecast. Back to you, Matt.
Well, I guess we could cruise into another segment. Because we're just beating the hell out of these things. What's this next one say? Yummy in my tummy?
Yummy in my tummy.
What the hell is this one about?
I don't know. Something friggin' good we ate.
Oh.
Yummy in my tummy.
Oh, I'll tell you something good I ate this week.
There you go.
I had a real hankering, a real spankering for some Jamaican patties because I was in Toronto for one night only, and immediately had to get Jerk King. Excuse me.
Disgusting.
My body remembers it. Which is on Bloor and Lansdowne, I want to say, in Toronto. And here's the thing about ordering delivery in Toronto is sometimes it's a guy on a bike, sometimes it's raining, and you feel real bad.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that. So he pulls up, soaking wet. He's like, "Here's your food." I'm like, "I'm so sorry." It was amazing. I loved it so much.
Jerking is
always
the
perfect.
best Jamaican food ever.
That being said, there is a Jamaican patty place here in Alhambra where we live.
In the Mission District of
In the
San
Mission District.
Gabriel.
There's like a food court there. What the hell is it called?
Blossom Market Hall.
Market Hall, and there's a Jamaican place there. And their patties are like nothing I've ever tasted. They're like thicker.
They're bigger. They're more substantial. Like you can eat one and feel like it's a meal.
Yeah. Also, they look very handmade. Like you can see like the fingerprints that
Yeah.
pressed it in to seal the beef in. And they are just fantastic.
They're
I would
so
go
good.
there once a week, and I might even start doing that because it was yummy
Also,
in my
in your
tums.
tummy. Also, this Blossom Market Hall place. It almost reminds me of like a mini like I don't know, like a Chelsea market or something. It's not like a
Yeah.
food court. It's just cool and a lot of like they have a little like wine bar. They have an oyster place. They
We
have
would never know about this if we didn't live here. Too.
no. It's the best.
Hidden gems. There's gems everywhere. You got to find them, dig around, dear listener.
Okay, I have two yummy in my tummies. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So one, when your sister was here and you were at your improv class, we stumbled upon a cafe called Cafe Paradise, which is Cuban food. And we shared a Cuban sandwich, which is like kind of like a panini, for lack of a better word, with ham and like roasted pork shoulder, mustard, pickles, pressed. Goddamn, it was like one of the best Cuban sandwiches I've ever had.
Those might be two of my favorite foods of all time: Jamaican patties and Cuban sandwiches.
And your sister was like, "Holy shit, this is amazing! I've never had anything like this." And then we split this like guava pastry. Oh,
Yeah,
it was
which I tried as well.
so good. It
Tremendous.
was so yummy in my tummy. And then my second yummy in my tummy.
Oh my god!
I've had Mexican food twice this week. Actually, 3 times. Once I made it by myself. Oh my god, that explains a lot today, which really is. Oh, this segment leads into the next segment so well. You will see in a second. So, have you ever had what's it called? Molcajete?
I don't know.
It
what you're
looks like
saying
a
right
giant like mortar and pestle, and then there's
now.
a
What a
bunch.
crazy thing to ask somebody.
What's a Mexican dish?
molcajete?
Molcajete?
Molcajete? What?
It's like MOLCAGJETE.
No,
Anyway,
that doesn't happen.
We got the surf and turf molcajete, my friend and I, and it had like a bunch of like salsa and then like beef and then like this like chorizo type sausagey shit and bacon wrapped shrimp, and it comes. Oh my god, it's like this big like not an urn, like a mortar and pestle full
No,
of
it's an
food.
urn. Someone died in it. The remains of a human body.
Anyway, I had
used to
never
be in
had
it.
one before, and goddamn, it was yummy in my tummy at a place across from Blossom Market Hall in San Gabriel Mission District called Lunas.
God, we
So-
should work for Alhambra Tourism.
We should.
Come to Alhambra, stay at our house, go to Blossom Market Hall.
Honestly,
shit
we're
in the
plowing
field.
through these things because I said we were going to do like an hour and a half episode, and we're
Not
only at
gonna
like
happen.
43.
It's also like a weird heat wave here, and it's getting fucking hot in this room. I'll
It's
tell you that
really
much.
hot.
Yeah, it's because like literally last week it was like cold, and now it's like 30 degrees in LA.
It's really
The
toasty.
climate's changing.
I will say we have lately been doing like 30-minute episodes, 45. So like if it's over an hour, then girl, that's a big one.
Yeah, that's a beefy boy.
Okay, so all this stuff we ate leads into our next segment. Ow, my butt.
Ow, my butt.
I don't know if we'll do this many segments in another episode. This is
Oh, never.
really-
This I
I feel exhausted. I feel like I'm getting shotgun blasted in the face
I
by
told the
segments.
listeners this is what to expect. This is a one-time only segment extravaganza.
It is an extravaganza. I guess if you're listening to it, it feels like you're listening to 9 different podcasts. Like if you stop and
Yeah.
start it, you're like, oh, I'm on a short little drive and I can listen to a
Sure.
little bit. next segment, whatnot.
It's exciting.
I think it's exciting. What is this next segment?
It's hard doing a recap episode.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Next week will be smoother and funnier. I hope this is funny.
Is this over here? Shitting on our... Again, a recap episode. It can't all be fun and games. The people need to know.
Every minute of my life needs to be fun and games. Not so much games, but definitely fun.
I'm having fun.
Yeah. Should we do a
You're
game real
also
quick?
just in a mood. Maybe look at your shirt and get fucking funky,
I'm not
man.
in a mood at all.
You're in a mood.
I'm not.
Fine,
I
you're
am
not.
in a mood. I like being in a mood.
Well, I'm in a mood too.
What are you in the mood for? The next segment?
Yes. Ow my butt.
Ow, my butt. And this is where we talk about something that hurt our butt?
Listen, I panicked. Chris Bush, power listener, when I was like, there's going to be a bunch of extra special segments. And he's like, what are the segments? I will make intros for them. And then I panicked and I sent a bunch out.
Okay. Well, this is, okay. Because we do have first of all, Chris Bush, thank you so much for doing all these insane segment jingles. Also, a super special outro song, which we have to leave so much space for that because you do not turn off the podcast when this is done because this outro is
it's a good outro.
out of this world. I'd say that should be there should be an award for it. The Outrees.
All the songs.
This would get a nomination at the
Outrees.
2023 Outrees Awards. But if we're talking about Ow My Butt, I mean, I've actually had pretty good butt lately. I've had good butt. I did travel to Canada, and I maybe I mentioned this before, but I do not shit on travel days, and I want to so bad.
Yeah, I hear that, sister.
I wish I could, and I just feel crazy when I don't. I will say this. I was performing at a comedy club across from an old comedy club that I used to perform at in Toronto.
Uh-oh.
And the thing is, they have really nice toilets.
At the old comedy club.
At the old comedy club. So I did my set, and I traveled that day, so I had not shit. And so I snuck in there to use their toilets, and I had just a fantastic time. It was, but there was a guy cleaning the bathroom because it was like near the end of their show. So I think he was like, finally the bathrooms are clean. Like, it reminded me of like when Smithers was like cleaning the urinals with a toothbrush. And I was like, oh, jeez, I got it. And I busted in there. And I didn't make a mess.
No.
But it wasn't pleasant. It was like a travels day worth of butt.
Ew.
And yeah,
the segment sucks.
Yeah, it's not a good segment, but I will say, if you have any tips, listeners, for doing it on the day of travel, like, man,
it's hard to do it in the morning if you have an early flight because you're not in your circadian rhythm of pooping,
and your body is like, what's happening? Keep it all in, like it's just. And then also, I don't want to take something that'll make me shit because
you don't want to shit on the plane
in the wrong time in the Uber, you know.
Yeah.
Which brings me to another thing. It's like every fucking car should have toilets by now. Like, I've mentioned this on stage, and I will die.
Matt wants every car to have toilets.
I will die on this hill.
And I want there to be a carpool lane,
yes.
a fast lane you can drive in if you have to take a shit.
Yeah, we gotta have.
We gotta have
in
one of
cars.
these.
Like, come on, it's a seat. Let it open a bit and let it fall onto the streets.
Do you know how disgusting the streets would be?
The streets are sick already. Have you been in LA?
Yeah.
How's your freaking butt?
Well, here's a fun thing. So, ow my butt, flower food. That was an ow my butt
That was
day.
a hot, weird butt.
But ow my butt the other day, I think it was maybe all this Mexican food I've been eating. I clogged the toilet.
Which never happens here. We have a pretty good toilet for such things.
Well, I will say, I think our toilet is not great because it's one of those things. Sometimes the flusher doesn't like latch.
It's a button.
And it's annoying. So sometimes
like
it doesn't flush very easily. But I haven't clogged any toilet in years. I honestly can't remember the last time I've clogged a toilet. So when it happened, I'm like, uh-oh.
I like a flipper. I wish we had
know.
a flipper. Or old school like chain.
Like a chain? Ooh, I'd love a chain. A poo chain?
That's what toilets should be, a poo chain. And you pull it harder and the opening of the toilet just gets bigger the harder you pull it.
Yeah, like one of those, like, what do they call those things?
Yep. That's what they call them.
Anyway, I clogged the toilet and then I was like, oh no, I don't know what to do. And then I shut the door and I came up to you and I'm like, I've done a bad thing. And you're like, you're a big girl. You can figure this out. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you like to come to me for many issues, and this is an issue that I would want no part of at all. And you're like, but it's all still in there. I'm like, well, this is no.
And I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page. I was not.
I didn't need to be on this page. I didn't even need to be in this
Is
book.
is this where the poo knife comes from? Like cutting up a poo in a toilet that's too big, or it's like cutting the poo out of your butt.
Well, listener, let me fill you in with this tidbit. This comes from a Reddit thread that I read once, and it was a guy that was over at a friend's house, and he was taking a big dump, and then he was yelling for their poo knife. He was like, "Where's your poo knife?" And he's like, "That's when I realized only my family uses a poo knife," which is.
And this isn't the Always Sunny situation with Frank.
Do they have a poo knife?
Yes.
I thought he had a toe spoon.
Oh, maybe it's the toe knife I'm thinking about.
Yeah, toe knife. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yeah. No, he has this thread was about a poo knife. Apparently this guy's shit's so big he has to chop it up with a knife, and it's in just a like a barbicide bucket next to the toilet. So that's where poo knife comes from. And I can't imagine like that how much fiber you
for it to be that hard.
Just your poo is clogging the toilet.
Well,
are you a rhinoceros?
Here's the issue, because I was like, I didn't even use that much toilet paper. And you're like, you probably did. I'm like, I didn't. And I guarantee you I didn't, because we have a bidet.
Yeah.
So my poo was so firm and large.
Maybe we need a poo knife. Maybe that's a business idea. Maybe this is what people want. Maybe they don't even know if they need a poo knife or want a poo knife, but it's like we market a poo knife that's not threatening or gross.
A threat. How do you make a non-threatening poo knife? You just make it like pink and like...
Yeah.
A dog is like, I love my poo knife.
You know what? You don't even need a knife. You need like a potato masher of sorts.
Disgusting. That's a plunger. You're just...
No, this is just to mash it up. Mosh it up. And then it goes right through the pipes. Save the pipes.
This
would kill in Thailand. Remember in Thailand where they're like, we can't even, our pipes are so bad here, you can't even flush toilet paper? Imagine there was a poo masher next to every toilet.
Or like a poo liquefier. You just like, you put a few drops in and it just like turns it to like...
Liquid.
Have
you seen the ones that burn your poo? They ignite, like it goes into a capsule and then lights it on fire and burns it.
I feel like that's very bad for the environment.
That's better because it turns it into like soil. And you can like, well, here's the thing. The video, they're like, it ignites it, it burns it, and then someone has their hand in it. They're like, look, it's non-toxic now. I'm like, I still wouldn't touch it.
They're just eating it.
It tastes terrible. It used to be poo. Anyway, that's
knife.
where our butts are at. And I think I am toast right now.
Yeah.
I'm so hot right now.
Well,
I need to get out of this
just
room.
quickly, because we have to at least make this an hour, because that's what we've promised the listeners. Also,
we don't have to do shit. No one's paying us anything.
I did...
Except Chris Bush, who's paying us in jingles.
I did ask our dear listeners. I'm like,
did people send questions?
They did.
Oh my god!
So I was like, listen, we're doing a banger of an episode. If you have any questions for us, let us friggin' know. And so we're gonna try our best to answer as many as possible. Okay, this is another one of our power listeners. Also, we don't have a jingle for this segment. We'll call this "Ask Us Anything."
Oh, I don't have to edit that. That's great.
Yeah. Okay, so Sohail?
Yes.
So hello. He asked, what would Matt's drag queen name be?
How exciting.
What would it be, Matt?
You know we're both big drag fans.
Yes, we are.
Something with a mustache, something with like something Freddie Mercury, Freddie oh man.
What about Mustache Mercury?
What about Big Plops?
What does that have to do with anything? What about Poo Knife?
No, you can't be Poo Knife as a drag queen.
A drag queen named Poo Knife?
What about Bend Affleck? And I just bend a lot.
But that's not you.
I'm pretty flexible. I'm doing a lot of yoga these days.
Bend Affleck?
See? It's funny. It's funnier the more you say it.
What about most ass? Like a mustache.
Most ass. Man, I really wish I had this question prior. I can't think of a good one. I'm going to say Bend Affleck is my best one.
All right. And if our listeners at home, feel free to let us know what you think Matt's drag queen name
I am taking an
be.
improv class right now. I mean, that's all I could come up with. I guess
Bend Affleck.
It's 101. I'm taking improv 101. So I'm not doing anything too spectacular out there.
What about, okay, and then Matt Damon, Fat Demon.
Oh, God. Bend Affleck and Fat Demon. What an actual nightmare. And Pooh Knife comes out at the end. No one's going to this drag show. Well, this was supposed to be pleasant.
Drag queen named Pooh Knife.
Hey, I'm Pooh Knife. Oh no.
Always just has a dagger coming out of their head. Oh, okay. And then the same person asked, if Julia opened a restaurant, what would it be called? Pooh Knife.
I would absolutely be called Pooh Knife. Whatever you eat here, you will require a Pooh Knife.
It's gonna be so chock full of fiber.
Fibed up and ready to go.
Fibed up. What would I call my restaurant? I don't know, like fucking good stuff, man.
I had this one years ago, and it was a restaurant that served only ground beef, and it was called G&B's. And it was ground and beefs. And then you get Bull's ground beef, or like you just get something, but it's you sprinkle your own ground beef. There's a ground beef.
It was
like
sprinkle your own ground beef bar.
Yeah, it's like a ground beef buffet.
That's disgusting.
I love ground beef.
Because you're a simple man.
I'm a simple man, and I like it.
Oh gosh, mine would be called like, there's cheese in it.
There's cheese in them hills, and every table's on a small hill, and you eat cheese on it.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
And then for dessert, Pooh Knife.
Pooh Knife for dessert, and then you get kicked in the ass, and they march you out the back door.
Christina Walkinshaw asked, do you think the salad dressing at Oscars made us all sick and not all the edibles?
I hated the salad dressing.
So that goes back to us being like, what made us all sick? Because Christina Walkinshaw also one of the nights felt sick, but this was all at different times. So we were trying to determine whether it was the salad dressing or the shrimp cocktail that we had.
Because they made the salad dressing tableside.
And there was a bit of anchovy in there.
That's the thing with... You're like, I want a Caesar salad, but an authentic one like really tastes like fish. It's like not.
And I
it's
like
not
anchovy in Caesar salad, but this was a lot of
It was
anchovy.
fishy.
It was quite fishy. So the jury's still out. I don't think it was the edibles because I had no edibles and neither did Jess Brown. And we felt the sickest. So
There you go.
I don't know, Christina Walkinshaw. And then Lise Rocket. This person's name is Lise Rocket. Fucking cool last
real name?
Yeah. She said, or they said, I actually, she, her, those are her pronouns. I have like 1,000 questions for you, but of course, suddenly I can't think of a single fucking one. Well, we appreciate you reaching out anyway. Next time.
We talked about you either way.
We talked about you, so you get that. And then, Ames. Ames said, where can I get Chappie merch? Which, to be honest, that is my next project. I'm going to look at setting up, I don't know, like, you can do it like through Etsy or through my website.
Julia's spearheading this project.
I'm spearheading this project for realsies. That's what kept me up last night with great anxiety. I was like, how we make money other ways? Because guess what? Wedding expensive. Taxes come soon. Oopsie daisy doozy die.
Technically, taxes have come. I just put an extension on them.
And then Michael McKinnon, last question, said, you guys have recorded an audition for a lot of show pilots. Have we? What are some of the most ridiculous? Well, here's the thing. Even if we had, we're not at liberty to say.
Oh, I am. Absolutely. I don't give a shit's ass. I mean, I always say this one is that I auditioned for the role that K. Trevor Wilson got in Letterkenny.
Oh,
and
right.
My God, are we not even close to being similar people?
Right.
I remember doing that, and because I couldn't, like, just being able to see the character. It's like it's like Roy Kent in Ted Lasso. You're like, well, that's
just
the
him.
only person that could be that. And K. Trevor Wilson in Letterkenny, you're like, he's the only person that could be that. So like, but it's funny, I couldn't see it on the page. Maybe that's why I didn't book it, because I couldn't see.
But and that's a lot of casting directors. They're like, we don't know it, and we'll know it when we see it. Like they want you to succeed. They want you to make a choice that's so perfect or so whatever that it just leaps off.
I did just audition for a pilot, which Terry Crews is the lead in it, and I felt really good about it.
You were great.
I'm going to hear something from this. And then I saw on Variety that Rob Corddry got cast as the role I auditioned for.
Yeah.
I was like, well, if he doesn't have a shot,
Well.
not yet.
What did? Oh, I auditioned for one of the leads in Workin' Moms that I think went to Danny Kind. I mean, I get it, but like, I'm like, I am not a mom.
I don't wonder how far down the rung we are in that, because it's like, oh, Rob Corddry got it. It's like, how far down was I where they're just like, enough people have to get COVID for me to get the go ahead.
Because they never know some like an unknown like you. Not that you're
I'm unknown.
But you are unknown in more like the acting world. But sometimes someone will come in and just fucking knock their goddamn socks off, and they're like, that is the character.
The kid that plays Niles and Daphne's son in the new Frasier knocks it out of the park, and it's his first.
And he's straight out of Juilliard, but
ever TV
age is
role.
on his side because they're looking for a 19-year-old, and that he is. I'm not going to play like a 17-year-old unless it's a 17-year-old that it's like, yikes. What happened?
We got to wrap this up because I need to go to the bathroom. Where can they find you online?
You can find me online at Julia Comedy on Instagram, at Julia Comedian on Facebook. Twitter, I truly don't care about. And also, oh my God, I mean, the show is going to be happening tonight, but I'm so excited. Speaking about, you're like Roy Kent, who's played by Brett Goldstein. I'm performing in the main room at the Comedy Store tonight, and I'm on the same show as fucking Brett Goldstein, who plays Roy Kent.
Fucking Kent.
And if he has to kiss me, I'm going to do it.
It's gotta happen. Here's the thing with that is you rarely get to meet your wife's free pass. And it's going to be an odd situation because I am going to be there. And in my head, I'm going to be like, if anything happens,
you better not cock block
I was
me.
cool with this. So we'll see.
Wait, who's your free pass?
I don't know. I have none. I just want a quiet night at home. It would stress me out too much if I met like Jennifer Aniston and you were like,
that's all you can think of. You're such like a
because that was my high school one.
Yeah.
I was like, I love Jennifer Aniston back in high school.
Honestly, if you met Jennifer Aniston, she's like, sure, oh yeah, Matt,
it stressed me out too much.
I'd love to have sex with you.
I'd be like, do you want to watch a movie or something and like drink wine?
If Jennifer Aniston wants to have sex with you and you don't have sex with her, we're breaking up.
Okay. If she would have to really initiate because I'd be all like, I don't know.
Listen,
Brad Pitt's already been here.
You have my blessing.
And we love his ears.
Brad Pitt's also done some bad things. So, and you're a good man. Anyway, Matt, where can they find you?
Matt O'Brien on Instagram. Yeah, Twitter I don't care about. Lost my blue check mark today. Don't want to talk about it. I don't really care. I'm kind of done. I'm done with that. Comedian Matt O'Brien on Facebook because that one's really popping off. Yeah. And Matt_O'Brien on TikTok because why not? And they'll get banned soon too. I'm sure. Actually.
Sure.
I don't know.
Where are we at with TikTok? I haven't logged on in months.
Yeah, I'm on, and I'm getting hundreds of views, and I don't know why. Anyway, that is an episode. That is a nice recap. We're back rolling. We're gonna be weekly now.
Yeah.
There's no excuses. Oh, except for the week I'm in Winnipeg, we'll figure something out.
Maybe we'll backlog some episodes because a recap episode is hard. It's just a lot of like information because I feel like if we don't tell it to you,
I did that.
It doesn't. Yeah, I know. But also people are gagging for the info, and there's so much we left out.
That's right, and we'll be back next week with another episode. Please, though, right now enjoy this beautiful outro music for basically this episode only, but we'll probably play it again by the powerful listener that is Chris Bush. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Is this what you want? So hard to know. I hope you enjoyed this very special episode. They covered all the things that have happened in the last 3 to 4 weeks. The vow renewal in Vegas, Frasier Crane, and some pain between the butt cheeks. Sure hope they bring that segment back. But I guess we'll have to wait till next week to find out. And until then, have a happy chappy hour, stay warm and fuzzy, and try not to do anything too stupid. Good night.